Hey there, Screaming Ghostface Collectors, how's it going? It's Douglas here at Drowned Boy Productions, bringing you another Screaming Ghostface Collectors video. And today we have a couple of very special items to take a look at, one of which was a gift and the other was a trade. Both of these pieces are absolutely incredible and some of my favorite pieces in the Scream collection, so I'm really excited to add these to the collection and I'm even more excited to share them with you all, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the first piece we're going to be taking a look at is not a mask or costume related piece. Some of you may know this, but many of you may not. As well as having a mask collection, a screen use prop collection, and a KFC bucket collection, I also do have an art collection. And the art piece that we're going to be taking a look at is this incredible painting of Billy and Stu from 1996's Scream. This piece is absolutely amazing. I have a lot of really cool paintings, but this is by far one of my favorites. And this is kind of a cool, unique piece for me to have here in the collection, because I mean, come on guys, even though I do love Scream, for the most part, all we have is Ghostface stuff. I don't have a lot of movie posters or artwork or any kind of busts or anything of the actual actors that portray these characters, so this is a really cool and kind of unique piece to have in the collection, and I cannot wait to get it hung up. But before I hang it up, I have to show you all one of the coolest parts about this. Sure, it's an incredibly well painted, very cool detailed painting, but some of you might be able to notice, I don't know how well the camera can pick this up, but there is a little special function with this painting. Just one second and I'll show you. Alright, let's see if it shows up on camera. Ooh, it looks very faint. But what you guys can't see is a very well done glow-in-the-dark ghost face painted on top of the entire painting. It's a shame that it seems like the camera's not going to pick up the glow effect because it really is well done and it's very bright and vivid in person. It's not like a weak glow effect or anything. And I don't know if I mentioned the artist behind this yet, but this is a local artist that I've been friends with for a little over a decade now. He painted this piece for me entirely as a surprise, and this was a gift. It's one of the coolest paintings I've ever been gifted for sure. The artist name that he goes by is King Voodoo, and yeah, this thing is just absolutely incredible. And as for the second item, and the main reason why you guys are watching, I'm sure, here we have another screen use prop. This one kind of comes in two parts, but what I have for you all today is a screen-used Scream 2 Theater Extra costume. As for this costume set, this is not everything, so it's not the costume bag, there is no theater ticket, there's no green reptiles knife, it's just the robe and the mask. Now let's go ahead and take a look at these one at a time, starting out with the mask. This is the mask that was received alongside this screen-used costume. As for if this mask is screen-used, I'm not 100% sure. I kind of have my doubts, but realistically, I'm not 100% sure. The main reason I question it is because this mask type is the Easter Unlimited HN stamp. There are many Easter Unlimited HN stamp molds, and this is a bit of a different one. One of the main reasons why I question whether this one was used on screen or not is because this is an Easter Unlimited HN stamp poly shroud mask. What has been commonly accepted over the years by fans is that in Scream 2, especially in the theater scene, the only two mask types that were used were the Gen 2 Cotton Shroud Fantastic Faces Weeping Ghost and the Easter Unlimited MK stamped nicknamed RDS style masks as well. However, over the years there have been several Scream 2 theater robes that have popped up with an EU HN style mask accompanying it, claiming to be a full screen use costume from the theater scene. Due to the previous information of what we believed, we always kind of dismissed those masks as not being screen used, not being production masks, and that still may be the case. It's entirely unclear. However, one of the original stuntmen from Scream 1 and 2, Mr. Lee Waddell, has posted online a picture of an EU HN style mask, and he has claimed that that style mask was screen used and that EU HN poly shroud masks were on set. And furthermore, that the people on set actually did know the difference between the Cotton Shroud nicer quality masks and these newer, lower quality masks. However, from what we could tell trying to do those screen caps for those movie guides, no EU HN masks were really noticeable. There are some EU HN masks that look a little bit closer to a Gen 2 in shape. This, however, is not one of those version masks. This in my hand is one of the EU HN style masks that Lee has that he claims was on set and used in Scream 2. And at a first glance, these kind of could be easily mistaken for a Gen 2. Many people have made that mistake over the years, so I could almost excuse one of these being in the theater scene and mistaking it for a Gen 2 style mask. They are a little bit different in shape, however, they are both HN stamp masks, but they are different mold HN stamp masks. As for details on this mask, it is extremely yellowed. This is probably due to stage lighting if it ever was on set, otherwise it could be due to almost any other reason why it would be yellowed. However, it's not due to smoke, it doesn't smell weird or anything. But another, peculiar detail is at the bottom of the shroud down here. It's not very easy to see. I'll try to get a little bit closer on the camera where you can maybe see it. But it looks like there's a bleaching effect due to some stage blood. It looks like there's a couple of dots over here, and then obviously this area over here, which is greatly bleached. And why that detail is important is because if some of you don't know, the blood that was used in at least Screams 1, 2, and 3 was kind of acidic to some level because it had a weird reaction when placed on black fabric. Not all black fabric, but a lot of black fabric used in those productions that ended up getting bloody either got destroyed and deteriorated due to the blood, or it got bleached. In fact, my screen-used Killer Theater robe from the Stab Theater does have a little bit of damage on one of the bottom pieces of drapery due to some blood. As for the mask though, I still have no clue whether this is actually a screen-used mask or whether it's a production mask. I have no clue if it was on set or if this is just some piece that was sold along with it. What I do know, however, is that this costume was sold not too long after the movie came out, so I don't know if somebody just grabbed another mask, put it with it to try and complete it, and maybe they altered it as well, or if it actually was from set. Regardless though, the story that I have with it is that this is a screen-used, or at least production-used, Scream 2 mask. But like I said, personally, I still kind of question the mask, but this deal was a trade, so I'm not necessarily out any money, and realistically, I was mostly trading for the robe anyway. Not too long ago, I had to sell my robe. I was parting with a few different pieces out of the collection, and I did go ahead and part with it, and I actually got this opportunity pretty much like a week or two after I sold that one. There's not a whole lot to show here. It's just a big black fabric robe with, these kind of triangle cut sleeves that drape down. It's got the hood, obviously. This one does not have a rip on the front of it. However, it does have damage on the back of it. Towards the bottom on the back, it does have some damage due to some blood stains. You can kind of see it like staining the fabric, and it's slightly bleached, but it's not as severe as some other cases. But it did cause the fabric to become brittle and weak, and it's kind of ripped. But other than that, this one's in pretty much perfect condition. So yeah, there you have it. That's my Stab souvenirs that the studio sent over. And you guys are probably wondering, Douglas, what did you trade for this? I traded the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 stunt coveralls to a collector who has what is not only the largest collection of Rob Zombie Halloween props and production pieces, but one of the largest prop collections, period. Guys, I'm not kidding when I say his collection dwarfs mine a million times over. He has some of the most iconic pieces to ever grace the screen, especially in the horror genre. If you're a movie prop collector or are in those groups, you probably already know who I'm talking about. It's Mr. Dirk Mueller. Like I said, Dirk just has an incredible collection of just insane pieces, just so many insane pieces. Without a doubt, unquestionably, one of the greatest movie prop collections in the world. I can't necessarily say the best because there's so many amazing collectors out there with just incredible, mind-blowing collections, but it is for sure one that will blow your freaking mind. But I felt like that was a pretty good trade. I mean, he's got the incredible Rob Zombie Halloween collection. I've got one of the largest Scream collections. What he got is a one-of-a-kind piece that fairly enough would have only been seen in a few moments of the theatrical cut of the movie, that was never worn by an actor, whereas what I got was worn by an extra. There were definitely plenty of them on set. Michael Myers piece, theater robe piece, I don't know. If the mask is legitimate, I think it definitely makes it an incredible trade. Regardless, I'm happy, he's happy. Actually, now that I think about it, the trade was definitely in my favor because Dirk was nice enough to send me along some German chocolates with the trade, and they were delicious. And though that was a treat for me, I've got a trick for you all, because this was not the only thing Dirk and I traded for. I don't know if I want to unveil the other half for Halloween, or if I want to save it for a subscriber special, but I figured I would go ahead and release the video on this one. So I kind of felt that this wasn't crazy enough to warrant too many theatrics around it, but I felt this was still something that you guys would love to see. Yet again, the mask is a bit of a misnomer. I don't know if it's legitimate or if it's not, but if it is, that's pretty damn mind-blowing. The robe, though, is 100% legitimate. These were made by Hollywood Toys and Costumes back in the day for Scream 2. They were all handmade, and I've had this one looked over by a couple of other Scream collectors, and they said it looks good, but they also are kind of with me on the whole HN mask being on set thing. Nobody really knows at this point. But at some point in the future, when I do get the opportunity to meet him at a convention, Lee Riddell and I will be sitting down and taking a look at his HN mask and possibly talking about that. He'll share some stories with me. We'll try and see if we can't find out some more information to find out maybe if HNs actually were on set or not. It's entirely possible that Fun World had some samples of these masks made, and those samples ended up being sent to the set of Scream 2. It kind of happened with Scream 4. There were things that were not commercially available yet that made it to the set of Scream 4. Or if it's a situation where the various prop houses or prop dealers that had these afterwards put the mask with it just to try and sell it as a package deal, it's kind of inconclusive at this point. The bloodstains being on the mask are kind of odd, and the bloodstains being on the costume are kind of odd. I don't know why there would have been blood on the extras unless maybe either some people were playing around in Jada Pinkett Smith's blood after she got killed during the theater scene, or maybe whenever they all took the costumes off and they were going into storage, possibly they got some blood on them at that point. I don't know. But regardless, it is another cool Scream 2 screen use prop to add to the collection. It will display very nicely with its actual killer robe brethren from the Stab theater scene. At some point in the future, I would like to get a seated mannequin and a theater seat just to have this costume on a seated mannequin propped up like he's watching the movie. That would be really cool. But who knows how long that'll be before we get that display done. Until then, nothing left to do but give you guys some close-ups. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, as well as all the other videos we've been releasing so far this season. Love you all, thank you for watching, and see you next time.